Okay, today's lesson is 2.6. It's called the median. We're going to answer, how do we display data with a line plot? And how can we find the median? So in lesson 2.3, we talked about using a tally chart. So let's try that again. Let's use a tally chart to look at how many siblings do children in 4C have. So, okay, some children in 4C have 0 siblings, some children in 4C have 1 sibling, and some children in 4C have 2 siblings. So now, let's look at that data a little bit more closely. So children with 0 siblings, I think Luca has 0 siblings. Children with 2 siblings, I believe Alice, Emily, and Guy have 2 siblings. So I'm going to put 2 tally marks there. And I believe that the rest of the class has 1 sibling, or that 15 children have 1 sibling. So here in your tally chart, you can see that I think 1 child in our class has 0 siblings, Luca. I think 3 children in our class, Alice, Guy, and Emily, have 2 siblings. And I think the rest of our class, or 15 kids, have 1 sibling. So here in our tally chart, you could see that data. In lesson 2.5, we also learned that our minimum is the data value with the lowest value, and the maximum is the data value with the greatest value. So our minimum is 2, and our minimum is 0. And our maximum is 2. We also learned that you can get the range by taking the maximum and subtracting the minimum. So here, the range would be our maximum. That would be what? Minus our minimum. You're right. It would be 2 minus 0. So our range would be 2. Okay? Or range equals 2. Okay. So you know how to find range. Now, another way to look at data is by making a line plot. So you make a line plot by first making a line. And then the bottom of the line down here, that's where you write down the data that you're observing. On the top of the line right over here, that's how you write down when you record how many times you see that piece of data, or the frequency. Okay? So say for instance, we're trying to find out how many times do we see 0, how many times do we see the value of 1, and how many times do we see the value of 2. So we're going to put that on the bottom of our line plot. And on the top, we're going to record how many times we see it. So let's record how many children have 0 siblings, how many children have 1 sibling, and how many children have 2 siblings. So here you can see that I've tallied up how many children have 1 sibling. I think just Luca. How many children have 2 siblings? Emily, Alice, and Guy. And the 15 children that have 1 sibling. So again, you can see the minimum, if you remember, it's the data with the lowest value, 0. Okay? Not the data that we saw the least. That's not the minimum. It's the data with the lowest value. The maximum is the data with the greatest value, or 2. And remember, the mode is the data, the value that you see over and over and over again, or the most popular. So what is the mode? Is it 0? Is it 1? Or is it 2? If you said 1, you'd be correct, because we see it 15 times. So now that we have our line plot, what we can do is, it's time to figure out what the median is. To get the median is going to be the value that's in the middle. But to get it, we have to put our data in order. So we can do that by putting it from minimum to maximum, or from putting in order from maximum data value to minimum. Okay? The median, again, is going to be the value in the middle. So here we have our value, our data, organized from minimum 0 all the way to maximum 2. Okay? Child with 0 siblings, and the children with 1 sibling, then the children with 2 siblings. Now down here, we have the data organized from maximum, the children with the most siblings, 2, then the children with 1 sibling, and finally the child with 0 siblings. And like I said, the median is going to be right in the middle. So you might be thinking, well, what if you have 2 values in the middle, and they're both different? How do you pick the median then? So if you have 2 values in the middle, let's say 9 and 11, well, the median will be the number that's in the middle of those 2 numbers, or 10. Okay, what if your value in the median was 7 and 9? What would your median be? It'd be 8, because that's in the middle of those 2 numbers. Okay, now what if you were stuck? What if your median values were 6 and 7? What would your median value be then? Well, you'd have to figure out what's in the middle of those two. What's in the middle of that is 6.5, or you can write it like this, 6 1/2. Okay? So what would be the median value for 3 and 4? If you said 3.5, could write it like that, or we can write it like this, 3.5, you'd be correct. Now let's find out what's the median value of the number of siblings in our classroom. So sometimes it helps to kind of cross out or just strike out the number. Okay, so I know it's not 0, I know it's not 2, I know it's not 1, I know it's not 2. Okay, I also know it's not, oh, sorry, let's make that bigger. It's not this, is not in the middle, that's not in the middle, that's not in the middle, it's not this number, it's not that number, it's not this number, it's not this number, it's not that number, it's not this one, not this one, not you, get out of here, not you, not you, not you, it's this value right there, 1. Okay, and if we organize our data from maximum to minimum, we're going to get the same answer. It's not this, it's not these two, it's not these two, it's not this one or this one, it's not this one or this one, it's not this one or this one, no, no, shoo, bye-bye, adios, ciao. Okay, it's not that one either. This is my median value. So the median here is 1 because it's a number right in the middle. So today, how do we display data with a line plot? Well, we put the data that we're looking for on the bottom, and then we record how many times we see that data on top, the frequency. How can we find the median? Well, we do that by putting the numbers in order. We do minimum data, the smallest one, all the way to the maximum data, and then finding out which one's in the middle. If you've got 2 values in the middle, then find what's in the middle of that. Okay? Or put an order from maximum all the way to minimum and find what value is in the middle. That's your median. Goodbye. See you tomorrow.